When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. Now let's continue where I last left off in our Mortal Kombat story. Before we begin, this is my second attempt of recording this. The first attempt, I didn't really like it. There's a lot of mistakes on my end. Just talking in general. Because I had a hard time talking for some reason. I don't know why. It is what it is. So, let's continue. Deku and Vox collided with their cutlass, creating sparks as their blades collide with each other. Deku spun to the right and blocked a right swing with his weapon and push upwards, trying to break his guard. Vox noticed he was trying to break his guard and backed off as both opponents circle around each other, right out of striking range. Impressive swordplay. You clearly are no novice. Who was your master, boy? No master, self-taught. Have practiced and almost mastered many sword arts. Well, sword stances, basically, what I'm trying to say, but anyways, that's not really important. Fighting with a cutlass is one of many styles I have under my belt. Take it you're here for one of the pyramids. You most likely had an audience with that vile woman, Arachnid. And you are very lucky you survived such an encounter. She is well known to be a man-eater. There would be only one reason she wouldn't devour you that instant you stood upon her. You must have somehow found yourself taking this pilgrimage, willingly or unknowingly. Not even I know what this pilgrimage entails, or what treasures you will find at the end of your journey. I'm no fool, pirate. I knew she wanted to kill me and devour my flesh. She might have a humanoid appearance, but she's a spider through and through. I'm guessing there's some sort of protection for the pilgrims that take in the pilgrimage. Indeed there is, my lad. I was still alive when this fracture of my old realm was whole once. I was even there when the elder gods shown their disapproval by creating a mass genocide on all life in this realm. As the skeleton pirate clenched his teeth and hands as the mere thought of that woman in the pyramid, he's seen many things in his undead life, and that woman is a pure monster in human flesh. But at the same time, she is the one responsible for holding the Elder God's wrath, for eradicating the rest of the population of this shattered realm. My apologies, my boy. Let's continue our battle. You nod at the skeleton. Deku would be lying if he said he wasn't interested in this history of this shadow realm that somehow turned into a pocket dimension. Deku charged forward and proceeded to spin into a slash with his cutlass. Vox dodged out of the way of the spin and swung downwards with his own weapon. Deku stopped his spin when he noticed his initial attack did not hit his mark. As he attempted to block a downward slash from the pirate captain, Deku pushed their blades apart and began to throw out fast swings with his cutlass in random directions, trying to find a weakness in his sword stance to capitalize on. Deku had to dodge several powerful sword swings that is infused with magic. The strikes were quite more powerful than what he's already displayed currently. It was quite surprising to see how strong the skeleton captain is, despite him being only a skeleton. He has quite an impressive amount of physical strength to his disposal. The wood of the ship underneath Deku even began to crack when Deku attempted to block the last attack from the skeleton captain with his cutlass. He was surprised at first by the strength, but soon adapted and pushed the skeleton captain's blade away from him. Deku jumped backwards. He went into his skid. As he looked at his cracked cutlass, as he sighed to himself, as he tossed the weapon. Well, not yet. What? Try it again. He sighed to himself, seeing his weapon is completely useless, as he tossed it over the edge of the ship and immediately pulled out the black katana that he dubbed Black Raven from his back. Consider yourself lucky, pirate. Not many have seen this blade that remain living. Considering you're technically dead, that point is moot. Deku immediately channeled his electricity through the blade, as you can see sparks of electricity emanate from Black Raven. Deku immediately went into attack with his sword. The first few attacks were just sword swings in completely random spots, just to gauge his opponent. Deku proceeded to jump in the air and did a partial backflip and swung his sword at the skeleton's head in midair. Fox wasn't expecting that sort of attack, but managed to adapt to the situation quite nicely and managed to block the sword swing from above. Deku landed right behind Vox and spin into a spinning swing with his sword for the skeleton captain to block the attempt, even without even turning around, as he blasts Deku in the stomach with a fireball, making Deku skid backwards. When Deku stopped moving, he dragged his two index fingers across the blade of Black Raven, as the pitch black katana emanate green electricity, and it only increased. Deku unleashed his attack by swinging his sword towards the skeleton, as visible sword slashes shoot towards the captain. Fox tried to put a magical barrier up, only for his magical barrier to get cut right through, as the visible energy sword slashes made the skeleton pirate captain fly backwards into a few nearby crates on the deck of the ship. Deku slammed his sword into the floor of the ship and extended his hand outwards towards the downed skeleton as he was yanked off of the deck of the ship, right into the palm of Deku's hand, as he grabbed firm grip of the skeleton's skull and began to activate decay. Surprisingly, the pirate captain only smiled, knowing this was the end. He was bested by a superior opponent. He regrets nothing. He had he had the full intention of killing Deku and turning him to a skeleton to add to his new crew. But ultimately, fate had other ideas. As his curse can finally be lifted, before the pirate captain could fully decay, he simply thanked Deku with a genuine smile on his skeleton face. The skeleton pirate captain known as Vox was finally put to rest. Deku motioned the princess to come aboard. Deku lifted up Melina with his telekinesis and gently set her on the deck of the ship as he sheathed Black Raven onto his back. But now, we can't really use this ship. There's only two of us. It's almost impossible to operate a ship of this magnitude. That's where you're wrong, princess. As Deku sat down like he was about to meditate, as he uses his telekinesis to take control of the pirate ship as it begins to move towards one of the black pyramids in the distance. Show off. I have to find a way to impress you somehow, princess. She just huffed and turned around and leaned against one of the beams of the ship. Basically the mast, basically what it is. Deku got up from his position and walked towards Melina, while he's still controlling the ship with his telekinesis. Is foremost the more powerful abilities he has under his belt. The moment his father gave his mother's quirk to him, he constantly trained it. It was very weak at first, but with dedication and hard work, he transformed a very weak telekinesis quirk to a very powerful telekinesis quirk. He could even lift a ship with his telekinesis in the air and make it fly like a sky ship. Deku has always used his telekinesis when the situation calls for it. The only thing he has from his mother, and he would never abuse his mother's quirk in such a manner. He's pretty much made the telekinesis quirk of like it's his own through hard training. It's still one of the most cherished abilities he has. As Deku stopped musing to himself about his mother's quirk. How are you holding up, princess? I'm doing fine. I'm uninjured. You're definitely doing all the heavy lifting during this mission. But that gave me the perfect opportunity to see how you fight with all the different abilities you seem to have. It's been very interesting so far. We're not done yet, princess. With all the information we have an idea of what pyramid to go to. So, which one are we heading off to? The one to the far right. The black pyramid that seems to be in a non-stop thunderstorm. I have a sinking feeling I should head to that pyramid. Regardless, it doesn't really matter which one we go to. Plus, what we were told about these pyramids, if we already have that same ability, it's supposed to upgrade our current ability. And I could always use an upgrade for my lightning. That is true, you do use your lightning ability the most. What I've seen so far, this entire mission that I have observed you. Can't help it. I have many uses when I use my lightning quirk. It's always been versatile. Yeah, basically what I'm saying. Anyways, let's continue. Deku began to throw up and catch a metal kunai. The entire time they were having their little conversation, Melina took notice. I've been meaning to ask, where do you even get those? I never saw you use a single kunai during this entire mission, and you don't really have deep pockets. Considering your entire. It's one of my passive abilities that I was granted when my body was improved upon. Melina was curious about when he mentioned his body was improved upon, but she didn't want to be rude getting into his business. They're nowhere close enough to do so, nor do they have that sort of relationship. And the thought of getting closer to him did pop in her mind a few times during this entire mission. But she did find during this mission, she doesn't mind his presence around her. Melina was broken out of her thoughts by Deku. Hold on, things might get rough. We're definitely approaching a storm. Hang on tight. As Deku concentrated his full attention on controlling the ship through the raging storm, there seems to be a city surrounding the Black Pyramid, and the pyramid seems to be right dab in the middle of the city. Deku stopped the ship miles away from the city, at a nearby oasis. They're still in the storm regardless, but it's safer to go on foot. Deku and Melina departed from the ship and continued the rest on foot. Deku became full alert when they approached the city. Deku could sense several presences all around the city, but he couldn't get a visual on any person or monster. Deku stopped immediately when he saw a shadow shoot towards him, as it stopped a couple feet away from Deku, as a figure slowly comes out of the shadow, like it's liquid. Deku narrowed his eyes as the figure becomes visible. It's a very pale-skinned figure, very pale face, and pale upper torso, and the rest of the creature's skin is pitch black, with some sort of substance. He knows the creature has 3 eyes, with black electricity emanated off his body, with claws and claw feet. Welcome, my mother has been expecting your arrival. Please follow me, Lord Deku. He was immediately suspicious of the strange creature, but didn't show it on his face, and continued to follow regardless. Deku gave Melina a look to get ready if things get unpleasant, despite the very polite reception they got by the strange creature. He refused to let his guard down. Melina only gave Deku a nod and acknowledgement. Melina walked closer to Deku in a protective manner, just in case things don't turn out the way they think. Quite curious how you know me by name, and judging by your attitude when we entered the city, you knew of our arrival. I know for certain we've never met before, creature. Of course we know of your arrival. We've known for many centuries. It was foretold after this realm was shattered. That was the very last things the Oracle revealed to us during their dying breath. Unfortunately, I'm unaware of what the Oracle said. The only one that has details what the prophecy entails would only be Mother. So you're not the guardian of this pyramid? Evidence no. I haven't reached such honor. I'm only a humble servant. Now, let's hurry up. We're almost there. Didn't take long to get to the pyramid. The whole pyramid is emanating electricity in the sky, most likely responsible for maintaining and creating the thunderstorm in this entire area. After passing by all of the statues, while climbing up the stone steps to the main entrance to the Black Pyramid, they traveled through several hallways that led them to a bigger chamber. Deku could see a woman in the middle of the chamber seems to be waiting for their approach. Deku instantly was set on alert from the mere power that emanated from the woman. He's only sensed power like that once before. She has the same type of power that radiate, a power of a god. Deku's not sure, but they clearly have similar energies emanating off them. But this woman seems to be different, far more powerful. Compared to her, Raiden is like a pebble in the vast ocean. Well, the strange creature known as Void kneeled down to one knee to his crater. I brought them as you ordered. Excellent work, my child. I've been looking forward to this meeting for a very long time. Deku, greetings to one of the pyramids. Precisely my pyramid and prison. I was curious about the prison part, but he let that go. You seem to know me. Personally, your existence was revealed to me many, many years ago. To be precise, a couple of centuries ago. The strange woman pulled out a sheath. That sheath was attached to a blade in the middle of her chest. Deku, by pure instinct, drew out Black Raven from his back. Deku suddenly lost track of her as she disappeared then reappeared, slamming her knee into his stomach as he was shooting off like a rocket into the wall of the chamber, cracking it. As you can see the damage to the wall repairing itself. Strange runes begin to appear onto the wall. As the mysterious woman saw Melina was about to interfere, I would advise you, girl, to stay your hand. This battle does not concern you. Her power the woman's emanating made Melina stay her hand for now. So she stepped backwards in position as the mysterious woman focused her attention towards her opponent. Deku made contact with the wall. He spit up blood. As he finally recovered from the surprise attack and pulled himself off the wall as the wall repairs itself without Deku even noticing. Deku composed himself. After he got over initial shock that she was able to hurt him, with a simple love tap, Deku could tell from that initial attack, she's clearly holding back. And a lot. Deku charged once again, only to be met with a knee in the stomach again, as the woman disappeared as she reappeared and swung her sword to the right. To the side of Deku, basically to the right of him. As several sword slashes appeared all over Deku's body, slicing him open as blood begins to drop from Deku's wounds from his body. Deku's body finally kicked in as his regeneration accelerated his healing. But the fact that she was able to manage to even cut through his very tough skin is very concerning. That's never been done before. In response, Deku jumped back and slid backwards to get some distance. Deku got into a sword stance. The strange woman just stood there, relaxed. He could see sparks of black electricity emanating from her blade. Deku channeled his own electricity throughout his entire body and cracked the stone tile beneath him when he charged forward, swinging his katana towards the mysterious woman. He was instantly blocked by the woman as she simply yawned like she's bored. As that simple act sent Deku flying backwards from a simple sword swing that the mysterious woman attempted after the block. The guardian shot out black electricity out of her hand as Deku begins to absorb the lightning attack, supercharging his lightning abilities in the process. Then he channeled what power he got throughout his entire body to make him stronger faster and giving his lightning abilities a power boost. This feeling is very familiar to him before. He's only felt this once before, when he absorbed the lightning from Raiden. But before he could ponder further, another lightning ball came flying towards him. Deku absorbed that as well, as the mysterious woman shot out lightning slashes with her sword. He swung his own, making green electricity clash with black electricity. The moment the two opposite attacks encountered each other, when both attacks collided with each other, as a singular lightning explosion erupted from the chain reaction of both lightning attacks canceling each other out. Suddenly, several more lightning bolts flew through the smoke from their little electric explosion. And yet again, he absorbed that attack as well. You're absorbing my lightning attacks.
Fight.
What a curious ability you have there, mortal. Out of curiosity, you wouldn't be a god, would you? The woman simply smiled. Fallen elder god, to be more precise. I was sent here to be a guardian of this pyramid for punishment for my last transgressions against the elder gods. I won't bore you with the family drama. Oh, I just remembered. I didn't introduce myself. I do apologize. I am a fallen elder god, Lydia, at your service. As she gave Deku a bow. After all, it's only natural I give you my name, at least one of them, considering I already know your name. I might tell you about it further. If you could actually force me to use 15% of my power, I might even reveal you to what information I know about this prophecy that evolves around you, my little mortal. Honesty, I don't really care about some prophecy or cryptid message, but yet again, I do like a challenge. Ned was right about you. You are a very interesting mortal. Let's see how you handle this. I hope you're ready. I'm going to kick it up a notch. As Lydia disappeared completely, Deku suddenly blocked an incoming sword swing as Lydia became visible once again. Deku pushed her blade away from him and began to swing his sword. So did Lydia, as they're making sparks as both opponents emanate electricity through their swords, as black and green electricity could be seen sparking from contact with both their blades, making flashes that developed the room. Basically, flashes of the light of green and black. Deku's eyes widened slightly as Lydia began to attack with more speed, making after images of herself, doubling each time she attacks with her blade. Is clearly being overwhelmed as he's blocking every attempt from Lydia, becoming very hard to keep track of when she's constantly making after images of herself surrounding Deku on all sides and increasing her speed each time she attacks, Deku notices he has several cuts all around his body that are slowly closing up. It might look like he's blocking every swing, but but only but he's only been blocking the swings that are aiming for vital areas for serious damage. He's just been tanking the rest of them. Lydia came rushing into a powerful right swing with incredible speed. Deku, seeing this, hop backwards to dodge the sword from mere inches away from his face, as it barely nicked him on the cheek. The moment Deku's feet touched the ground, once he hopped backwards, he instantly rushed forward and went into a spinning sword slash towards his opponent, making Lydia skid backwards when she attempted a block from the very interesting attack. She could tell instantly that that last attack was far more powerful than the previous attacks he's been doing so far, and he's getting faster. She has some suspicion that the lightning bolt he's been absorbing somehow has been feeding his abilities, making him far more stronger. She could tell he's not used to so much electricity all at once. Deku is finally getting a handle of the burst of power he got from absorbing the electric bolts from his opponent, from this fallen elder god. Lydia walked forward and caught Deku's blade with his two singular fingers. "What a very pretty sword you have there," as she rammed her elbow into his face, and proceeded to land several spin kicks into his stomach, then grab him by the sword arm and slam him into the ground, one-handed, then immediately began to unleash a fast-paced sword thrust towards Deku, forcing Deku to roll out of the way and throw back Lydia with his telekinesis as she goes skidding backwards from being thrown, giving Deku enough time to recover. Deku sees Lydia that the tip of her fingers are glowing when she lands on her feet from being thrown by the telekinesis. As she begins to write symbols in the middle of the air, suddenly he was surrounded by black magic circles surrounding him on all sides and in the air. Then the fallen elder god snapped her fingers as all the magical circles shoot out different type of electric attacks at Deku. Deku began to counter all the different electrical attacks by throwing his own electrical attacks with green fireballs to mix up a little bit in rapid succession. Surprisingly, the fallen elder god, clearly this mortal has power over lightning and able to absorb it from any outside source, regardless if it comes from a god or not. It seems to supercharge its own abilities, also gaining him access to more increase in power. He also displayed he has power over fire as well, and telekinesis, judging how he just threw me without even touching me. And he clearly seems to have some sort of regeneration and has superior stamina compared to normal mortals, and strength to boot, but he's still a mortal regardless. It matters not if he comes to an occasion. Matters not if he rises to the occasion or falls. He's only a mortal, no matter how strong he is. At the end of the day, he's still a mortal. At the same time, I am curious, what else kind of abilities he has that he hasn't shown yet. Let's add a little more pressure and see how he handles this. Once the explosions receded, Deku found himself surrounded by copies of Lydia, thinking they're just after images. Deku assumes they were just after images of Lydia. When he tried to pass by one of the copies, that same copy landed a solid kick, as another one hit him in the back, forcing Deku to step forward a few steps. Deku blasted fire out of his mouth at a incoming Lydia clone, vaporizing it. When the copy was destroyed completely, whatever magical power was used to create it, it begins to flow back to the original. As she simply had only the Elder God only simply has a smirk on her face. Deku got into a fighting stance. He managed to take out one, but there's still 4 of them left. That's not even including the original. She seems to be in the back, letting her clones do the work. Deku's no fool. If she decided to attack with her solid clones that she created by whatever means, he would stand no chance whatsoever. As all the doubles pulled out their swords from their chest that haven't already and launch forward, swinging their blades downwards when they surround Deku. Deku blocked all of their swords at the same time with his blade. Suddenly, all the doubles backed off and began to attack one after another, forcing Deku to block each sword swing. Deku was quickly overwhelmed. Deku released a burst of electricity in desperation as several lightning bolts shoot out of his body, destroying all the remaining magical copies of Lydia. The moment the last of her magical doubles were vanquished, she burst forward, swinging her blade downwards. Deku immediately turned around to block the attack. As the 2 swords grind against each other, as sparks begin to emanate. Impressive. But it seems that little stunt of yours took a lot out of you. That little supercharge I gave you, it seems to be coming to an end. Such a shame. I wanted to see more what you're capable of, mortal. You have intrigued me. Want to see more. Show it to me. Show me your power. Show me the power of a mortal. You did not respond, but simply kicked her in the stomach as she was sent backwards. Deku slammed his sword into the ground, then immediately ran forward, making a sonic boom behind him. As he approached his target, he landed 2 solid combination strikes, making Lydia to fly backwards further. But before she could hit the wall of the chamber, she recovered by jumping onto the wall and using the wall itself as a springboard to shoot towards Deku and land a vicious knee into his face. Kicked him away as Lydia's sword turned into sparks of electricity as she disappeared. As she reappeared behind him and once again elbowed him, but in the back. As she kicked him away once again, as she watches her opponent hit the ground hard. As she watched Deku get to his feet, as he turned around to spit some blood from his mouth, as Lydia used her universal hand gesture to bring it, with a smirk on her face. It's a very condescending smirk. For once, did not have a smirk or a snarky remark. He simply charged forward, cocking his hand backwards. Lydia did the same. As her sword disappeared in sparks of electricity, as their fists collided with each other, creating a large gust of wind pressure that could be felt in the large chamber. That could even be felt as the spectators can feel the wind pressure blowing through through the chamber. After the first initial strike, Deku threw out a left psychic attack, aiming for her ribs, only for his opponent to not even be bothered by it, and backhand him in a spin backhanding strike. Deku recovered and threw out a medium kick. As the fallen elder god dodged the mid kick that was aiming for her ribs, she maneuvered her body into his blind spot and slammed her fist into his face as he goes shooting off once again, hitting the wall of the chamber. Deku unlodged himself from the wall. He instantly created after images of himself surrounding Lydia, trying to confuse her. If it was anyone else, this tactic would have worked perfectly, but she has far more experience than Deku. She easily caught the real one by slamming her elbow into his stomach, then landing a solid palm strike into his chest. Then she proceeded to grab him by the right arm and throw him over her shoulder to the floor, then instantly kick him in the stomach as he goes skidding across the stone tile floor into a nearby statue, crushing right through the statue from the moment he made impact that he made with the object. Before Deku could hit the wall of the room, Lydia appeared right in front of him and kicked him to the other side of the chamber as he goes skidding across the ground once again. Deku barely had enough time to dodge out of the way as he rolled out of the way from a very powerful strike as Lydia landed a solid punch to the ground where he was once before he rolled out of the way. At the spot he was beginning to crack as it sunk in, as she created a small crater from the impact of her punch. That gave Deku enough time to get onto his feet and hop backwards to get some distance. Deku moved around the chamber without breaking eye contact with Lydia, as their own electric colors began to emanate from their bodies. Deku's extremely focused. He's not fighting against some nobody. He's fighting against a elder god, a fallen elder god, but a elder god nonetheless. He's not delusional enough to believe that at his current skill level, he can defeat her. She's clearly more skilled when it comes to the art of the sword and the hand-to-hand combat. It's only natural. She is a goddess. She's clearly has more experience and live longer. The likelihood of someone managing to defeat her is unlikely, unless you have some serious firepower at your fingertips. Unlike that fool Raiden, Lydia doesn't throw out her lightning bolt after lightning bolt like a moron. Considering his ability can absorb any electric attacks to add power to his own. But he does have a trump card, his decay. He's not 100% that would even work on the Elder God. It might hurt a god, but it probably won't kill a god. But regardless, he decided to find out as he rushed towards Lydia, ducking under a spin kick and grabbing her by the arm. Once he finally made contact with all 5 fingers, he began to decay. She immediately broke contact and jumped backwards. As Deku watched the damage on her arm instantly burst in electricity, a second later she is completely healed, like she was never damaged in the first place. Lydia wasn't expecting that sort of attack from this mortal. When she felt all 5 fingers were placed on her arm, she felt something wrong. Then she immediately broke contact. She was glad she did. Whatever he did, it is clearly dangerous. No threat to her, but it still doesn't negate how dangerous ability That was. It even managed to slightly damage her. It might have damaged her slightly, but it still damaged her nonetheless. Sort of figured my decay wouldn't be super effective against the Elder God. So that's what that was, mortal. Decay. What a very dangerous ability you have access to. I'm surprised with that ability you didn't go for the killing blow. The most disappointed. What a most disappointed action. You ruined your chance. Self-open, in case it didn't work. I'm not fighting against some rando. You're an Elder God, fallen or not. We're clearly on two different levels when it comes to power. I'm no weakling, but you're a goddess for a reason, and I'm no fool, like a certain thunder god. Ah, you must be referring to Raiden. So you know the fool. Indeed, I know him. I taught him everything he knew. I was the one who brought him into the fold. I was the one who picked him from obscurity as a normal mortal and turned him to the god he is. I get a feeling you don't like him very much. He's an arrogant fool. I don't like that god. He's an idiot. He's too single-minded. But I don't hate him. I don't hate the bastard. We're just on the opposite sides. When you let things get personal, then you start to make stupid mistakes. That could get you killed. Very wise words from a mortal. Shall we continue our dance? I'm actually enjoying myself. It's been ages since I actually engaged in such activities as combat. You, my green-haired mortal, have caught my full attention. Honestly, I didn't think much about the prophecy at first, and what the oracle revealed before they died. And here you are, in the flesh. You are indeed a very dangerous mortal, the most dangerous mortal I've ever came across. I see so much potential in you, Deku, so much potential. The possibilities. I think it's about time you stop holding back. I know you haven't used the rest of the extent of your power that I gifted you. So you caught on to that. So you caught on that little power boost you gave me. I still have some still in the tank. But you're right. Let's finish this. Deku's eyes begin to glow green as electricity begins to emanate off his body more frequently. As he moved forward, making a sonic boom. As there were several booms a second later, as both mortal and elder god engaged in hand-to-hand combat, moving so fast that the spectators couldn't keep up with their movements. There are several spots on the ground begin to break and shatter as they both appear, allowing everyone in the room to see the damage on Deku and Lydia as their injuries instantly repair themselves. In truth, Lydia didn't think much about the green hair immortal at first. She's never put much faith in prophecies and whatever the oracle says, but she would be a fool to completely discard it. She's extremely pleased so far what she's seen of the young mortal. He's indeed the most powerful mortal she's came across. She is curious if he could defeat Shao Kahn. She might be isolated in this pyramid. That doesn't mean she doesn't have resources to find out what's been going on outside of this shattered realm that was made into a pocket dimension to test pilgrims on the pilgrimage. That's why she created a void. He is the perfect tool to gather information outside of the prison she found herself in. She might not have been sealed like Shinnok, but she's still a prisoner in this place regardless, and forced to act as a guardian for the trials that the Elder God set in motion. She got off easy considering how petty and wrathful the Elder Gods can be. She would know. She used to be one of them. She's never took a liking to her fellow Elder Gods. She considers them arrogant fools. That's why she joined Shinnok when he finally rebelled against the Elder Gods. But to Lydia, Shinnok was a means to an end. But unfortunately, before she could put her plans in motion, she was stopped beforehand. She couldn't implement and was placed in this prison, in this pyramid, to act as a mere guardian for mortals taking part in the pilgrimage. They stared at each other without even breaking eye contact. Then they suddenly charge once again, as both Lydia and Deku dodge and weave around each other's attack and throw strikes out when they saw an opening, as they both begin to land solid hits off each other, making wind pressure as they do so. Melina watched the battle commence. She gets the sense the Elder God doesn't have any killer intent while she's fighting Deku, but she could sense that she's clearly still holding back. She could sense that much at least. But she's slightly worried. She's never seen Deku struggle so much against a singular opponent. But that's to be expected after all, he is fighting against the Elder God. She might be a fallen Elder God, but that doesn't mean her powers have diminished. How powerful she is, Melina could clearly tell. All of her power most likely are still intact. The Elder Gods did not strip her of her abilities or power. She's more concerned on Deku compared to that. But as much as she wants to act, she knows this is his battle. And she's no fool. If she interfered, the god most likely would strike her down. And she doesn't want to be obliterated by an Elder God, so she just observed for now. She was never meant to interfere in his battle. She was taxed to observe, and to observe only, and to give support, and just in case. Melina was broken out of her thoughts by the two lightning bolts collided with each other, as green met black, as green and black electricity shoot out in all different directions, as sparks of electricity scatter the battle area in the chamber. Deku began to glow green, as you see a green outline around Deku's body, as his eyes are glowing bright green, as he hovers above the ground with his arms spread out to his side, as Deku used his telekinesis combined with his lightning ability from his lightning quirk. Deku extended his hand upwards as a humongous green lightning ball can be seen. The moment he threw it, it shot off like a bullet, heading towards his target as a large green explosion of electricity was created. With the smoke that was created with the electric explosion, concealing Lydia. But Deku wasn't done. Suddenly he shot out a humongous green fireball into the smoke as an additional explosion went off. As Deku threw out several more powerful lightning bolts towards the explosion for good measure. As chunks of stone began to fly all over the room, basically debris. The debris never got close enough to the spectators. As Deku stopped all the debris in midair, as you see chunks of stone from the stone tiles and nearby statues floating harmlessly all around the battle area. Suddenly a black lightning bolt shot out of the smoke. When Deku finally realized the attack was close, it was already too late, and struck Deku in the chest. As he was unable to absorb the attack, he was caught by surprise. That's why he was unable to absorb the lightning bolt. His absorbing feature of his lightning ability, it isn't done automatically. That's pretty much the major flaw of his quirk, alongside if he absorbed too much if his body can't handle it. He's never experienced, nor does he want to. Deku stopped himself from moving from the bolt of electricity that hit him in his chest with his telekinesis, stopping his momentum. Deku began to dodge black lightning bolts from the Elder God as he managed to throw a lightning bolt or two of his own. As both attacks go into a slight power struggle, Deku's eyes widen as the black lightning bolt overtakes his green lightning bolt, as Deku was forced to fly out of the way, as the lightning bolt hit the wall behind him, but the attack didn't do any damage to the wall, as glowing runes showed up, absorbing the attack, leaving the wall completely unharmed. Deku noticed that and made a mental note, in case it helps in the future. Deku proceeds to continuously to shoot out green lightning bolts at his opponent, only to see the Elder God smack them out of the way, like they weren't even a threat. Deku immediately became on full alert as he sees several black lightning bolts in the air surrounding him. A rough estimate he could see there's at least 15 black lightning bolts all around him. There's clearly more, but he counted 15 so far. He doesn't really have enough time to fully count the numbers of lightning bolts surrounding him. What an impressive attack you did. If I was anyone else, you would have vanquished your foe. But I'm an Elder God, hun. It's going to take a lot more than that to take me on. You have impressive power for a mortal. But you're immortal nonetheless. You know this battle was a non-win scenario for you. But don't fret. Your trial here was never to defeat me in the first place. Your task was simply to show your worthiness. And what I've seen so far, I've been most impressed. Most impressed indeed, my mortal. You should consider yourself lucky, mortal. You were the first mortal to see me draw 10% of my power. A feat has never been accomplished before by a mere mortal, no matter how gifted the mortal is. Because you have impressed me, forget about that little wager I gave you. I'm going to kick it up a notch, starting by releasing 20% of my power. I'm looking forward to see how you handle that much of my power being released, as a wave of pure power emanated from Lydia, forcing Deku to the ground, and everyone else in the room. As that's where we're going to stop our story. Hope you guys have a good night and day, judging my time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.